So, when we last left off, you guys had left the small. Well, I'll start from the beginning. You guys had left Oxen, the city underground, in hopes of finding the surface to claim the 10,000 gold reward from the Reclaimers. You set out from Oxen towards Duna, the other city, where at the midway point you were told the last team that had a lead on the surface path was sent. You stopped at a wayside station where you aided them in getting their water supply returned. You were paid, and then you continued on your journey. You eventually found the little diverting path that they mentioned, and you followed it and tracked the footprints of the previous group through the tunnels. You eventually found your way to a large cave with some kind of creature in it. You never got to see what it was. You actively avoided it and through proper rolls stealthed by it. But you both found yourselves slipping and falling into a small lake. The lake had a current which went straight up, almost like a waterspout or a reverse waterfall, and carried you two up for a few minutes, almost expending your ability to hold your breath until you breached the surface and found yourselves in sunlight for the first time. You found the bodies of the previous explorers along with their envoy, and they both reiterated how they had lost their connection to the Reclaimer's base. You pilfered the bones, finding gold and coins that you did not recognize, and that is where we left off.
And we just like breakneck pace stealth away. We're stealth away from a T-Rex.
Oh yeah, you also stealthed away from some kind of creature, which you had never seen.
Know.
You had never seen before, but you were able to discern that it was a form of a dinosaur. No, not telegram. Okay, and that's where we left off. So, you guys are sitting around the edge. You're hiding in the bushes around the edge of a lake, as a large dinosaur is drinking water from it, from the non-frozen parts, which Azriel you had frozen over in an effort to stop anyone else from reaching the surface and claiming the reward, possibly.
And on that fateful day, there was 100 dead bodies under a frozen surface.
But go ahead.
That's okay.
After about 10 minutes, the dinosaur eventually stops drinking, sniffs the air for a moment, and then lumbers off back into the forest.
Did it look like a meat eater? Or was it an
It looks like a meat eater, yeah. A carnivore.
Alright.
It had the, two small arms, mouthful of sharp-pointed teeth, reddish tint to its scales, and some feathers, denoting it as a dinosaur.
Does it look like its scales might be valuable? Have I ever seen armor made out of it? Something like that before.
A long time ago, you would have seen armor made of it, but down in the Underdark, you want to attack it?
I got to assist with the attacks.
You want to fight it, Manny?
I'll be up for it.
Okay.
Alright. Is it going to walk away?
It's starting to walk away, yeah.
Surprise attack?
Yeah, you guys would have a surprise attack.
I don't get critical or anything, but I throw a dagger into its back, and I do divine smite shit, blah.
Okay, make your attack roll.
Okay.
Hey, what's this do?
Not one!
Now,
Oh no, it's a 7. I'm sorry.
7 total.
It's just 7. It's
I
a
can
7.
see.
It's higher than... so whatever my... Fuck. It's a... What's a dagger? It's a D4... Hold on. So 7 plus 5 plus... My proficiency would be 3. So... 15? Does that
That'll hit. Yeah, that'll hit.
Fuck yeah. And then I divine smite it.
Okay, before you do that, though, give me an initiative roll to determine after your surprise round.
Okay.
Because that way I can actually affect the creature's HP.
A 4 for initiative. Or no. For 7.
Okay.
No. 9. Math.
You're fine. And Azrael?
Oh wait, you want me to roll initiative? Shit.
Yeah, yeah.
I was gonna cast magic missile also.
I know. I'm just getting.
Give
I
me a
just
sec.
want the way I
Yeah.
use the way I use D&D
Yeah,
Beyond's
yeah.
encounter. Once I start an encounter, I can actually affect its health. But before that, I have to put in the initiatives.
What's 8 plus? Okay, wait. Okay, so 10.
Okay.
That's my initiative.
Okay. So go ahead and roll damage, Mighty, and Azrael, go ahead and roll your magic missile since it automatically hits.
Yeah, I'm right.
Alright, 1 sec.
How many do I roll? Let's see, Alright, 1d4 dart. Wait, what?
Magic missile. At first level, 3 glowing darts.
Okay, but I'm doing it at second level.
Okay, so
Doing it at
for
second level. My apologies. So that'd be 4 darts, right?
are you casting it from second or third?
Second level.
For second level,
Yeah.
it'd only be one extra.
One more dart for each slot above the first level. So
So 4, yeah.
that's 4 darts.
Yep, you're right. I was mistaken.
Let's see. That's 3 plus 4. That's 7 first. Yeah.
And Mighty, what did you get?
Hold on, I'm trying to find fucking
Yeah.
Mind Smite.
Alright, so total of 14 damage
14.
from magic missile.
So
there
you
it
watch.
is. Okay, so when you hit with a melee weapon attack, you can expend 1 spell slot to deal 2d8 radiant. Okay, so let me do the d4. So 7 dagger damage,
Okay.
I think. Unless I don't get the proficiency on that, right? That would be. I don't think that goes to damage.
Are you proficient in daggers?
Yeah.
Then I believe you do.
You get the damage from the.
I'll Google
from
it.
that then?
I'll Google it real quick.
Alright, yeah, check. Because I don't think that's right, but I don't know.
Yeah, you never had damage. You're right. You never had proficiency. You're right. You're right.
And then 2d8, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. 13.
So a total of what? 13 plus. What was your base?
So it's 20.
20 total.
Yeah.
All right. So you launch your dagger out as Azrael launches the darts from the bush. The dinosaur turns at the last second as the dagger impacts it in its chest and explodes in this radiant light. As it's peppered with magic missiles, just making it lumber to the side slightly. But it sees you now and lets out a mighty roar. But at the top of initiative is Azrael.
Holy shit. Okay. You know what? I'll do it again. Magic missile level 2 again.
Okay.
Show me 4d4s. Alright, so that's 2 damage, 3 damage, 3 damage, so that's 6, no, that's 6, 8, okay, that's 8 right now so far. And 10 damage in total. 10 force damage.
All right.
And this one, magic missile, right?
Yeah, magic missile. You leap
Yeah.
from the bush and just outstretch your hand as more darts fly around your palm and slam into the creature's back. And lets out another roar as you can see it's now bleeding from the mouth and its wounds are seeping blood. That's the end of your turn, though?
And
Hello? Internet issues, yay. Okay. Like I said, though, the dinosaur turns to you, bleeding from its wounds, as you impact it again with 4 more magic missiles. It's
dead.
looking
Alright.
it's looking really rough, but Zahn, it's
Alright,
your
so how
turn.
close am I to it?
You guys,
My turn.
hold on, Miney. You guys were maybe 20 feet away.
20 feet? How close is... Okay, so... Like, what's behind us, by chance? Is
Just a
there
forest.
Anything? Just a forest?
Yeah.
I'm gonna back up a little bit more, so Zahn's in front of me. Like, about
Okay.
5 feet behind Zahn.
Okay, easily enough.
And I'm gonna keep my eyes open.
Zahn, it's
Oh.
your turn.
I'm gonna keep my eyes closed.
Oh, fair enough.
Okay, it's not too far from me, right?
No.
I go ahead and just run at it and stab it with my rapier, and I
Okay.
divine smite.
Make
if
an
I hit.
attack roll.
That isn't that one.
Okay. So you run up and go to jab it with the rapier, and it bounces off its thick leathery hide. Is that the end of your turn?
Yeah.
Okay. It's going to look down at you, you tiny little kobold, compared to it, which is quite large.
I forgot about that. I just realized
What?
it's in sunlight.
Yeah, it's in sunlight, so you would have had disadvantage.
Yeah, on my last turn.
Well, it's fine for now. Just remember it in the
Do
future.
you want me to roll again and see if I hit?
No, I've already calculated the damage. It's not a big deal.
I
I
think
would've
I
said-
would have hit anyway. I rolled pretty low, so
You would have had advantage because he was stealth anyways, so it would have canceled itself out. But it's going to turn and make a bite attack against you.
okay.
That's a total of 10.
That misses.
Okay, so it goes to bite at you, and you easily leap out of the way as it snaps at the open air. Azrael, you're up.
Alright. So, you see my hands go up in the air, and as I go...
Like you just
and
don't care.
Twist and turn them like a clock. And then I push one hand forward and release a dark misty thing that lands on top of both the Zahn and the monster called
Okay.
Wither and Bloom. But I choose. I'm choosing it to hit the creature, but it's on top of him. So
Okay.
that's a Constitution saving throw.
Constitution saving throw. 21.
Okay, it succeeds, but let's see.
Does it take half damage?
Let's see. Each creature of your choice in the area must make a Constitution saving throw, taking 2d6 damage on failed and half as much on success.
So he
Okay.
takes half damage. Okay.
Non-magical vegetation in the area withers.
Okay,
That's
so
another thing.
you watch as this purplish mist kind of descends upon the battlefield, and the trees and the bushes begin to slowly wither and pull in as the creature
In addition,
yes.
one creature of my choice in that area can spend and roll one of its unspent hit dice and regain a number of hit points equal to the roll plus my spellcasting ability modifier
Okay.
if they want to use it to heal.
Okay. I don't believe Zahn is injured, so
Yeah.
Nothing can touch me.
But yeah, that's just that one time.
okay.
All right, so I gotta roll two
2d6 and cut it
takes
in half.
Yeah.
Got you in half.
Take this one. So he takes a total of 3 damage when I cut it in half.
All right. So it starts to, you hear it coughing and gagging as it's like spitting up remnants of its last meal as it shakes it off and still standing just barely. Zahn, you're up.
Alright. I'm gonna stab it again. Oh wait, is Manny close to me?
No,
Nope.
he's back. He's back.
You bastard. Okay,
You do not get pack tactics.
I stab him.
With disadvantage, go ahead
Yo.
and roll.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot that there's pack tactics with the kobolds. Oh wait, let's see. Okay.
Oh god damn it. What's the dice under it? Hide, you bitch. Are you able to see the history? I gotta.
Yeah, 15.
Okay, what? No, what's the lowest one though? Because I rolled 2 dice, 2d20.
Oh, one is a 4, one is an 11. So the lowest was a 4.
Okay, so 4 plus um math, 4 plus 7, so 11.
So 11, that'll miss, unfortunately.
Okay, no problem. End of my turn.
Okay. It is now the dinosaur's turn. It's going to make a claw attack. No, it's going to make another bite attack. It wants to eat you.
Wants to eat me.
That's a 23 total.
That I think hits. Let me
Yeah,
check.
it does.
Hold on.
Your AC is 16.
Yeah.
So you take you take 21 points of piercing damage.
Yikes! Can someone kill this thing?
Jeez, that's crazy.
All right, that's its only turn though.
That was surprising. I have a surprise look on my face.
It bites down and lifts you up before spitting you back out on the ground, and you just sit up with this like, oh shit moment. Azrael, you're up.
I
haven't
stare
fought one of
into
these in
its
a while.
eyes, and I magic missile it one more time.
Okay.
That is a total of 5 plus 3, which is 8 plus 2, 10 damage.
It only had 4 health left. So
Fair
you
enough.
seeing your
Yes!
new friend being picked up and shaken around before being spat out, you aim one more time, point your finger and fire off 4 magic darts as they slam into it, blowing its ribcage wide open as it lets out this sickening roar that gurgles into this blood-curdling cry as it stumbles and then falls to its side dead.
I loot its chest cavity and then I skin it. I spend how much every time I need to skinning it.
How do I see this happen? Him looting the chest cavity and shit.
I'm hoping there's something in its stomach. That
Okay.
Maybe 8 that I
Make
want
an
for
investigation
loot.
check.
I'm just like sitting. I'm just like.
I just crawl
like,
inside.
crouching.
Yeah, you
I'm
just
just crouched. I'm just crouched there, just staring like.
What am I rolling?
Huh.
investigation check.
An 8 plus. Hold on. Investigation. I'm not proficient in, but I have a 1. Okay, so 9.
9. So you begin pulling its organs out, looking, sifting for anything you can find. You find some bits of antler from deer, maybe some fur from other creatures, and some bones that look humanoid.
No armor or weapons or.
Unfortunately, no armor
Bones.
or weapons. Or gold.
Damn
However,
it.
as you both are standing over the corpse, you hear a loud whistle. And then you see a wolf kind of peek its head out from the bushes before ducking back down.
A wolf?
A wolf.
I think it's a druid.
I use prestidigitation on both of us, make us look clean.
Okay, you're both cleaned up from the guts and gore. And after a few seconds...
As you see me, I like suck in the air, and then I blow it out, and it's just like one of those air dryers from like Universal. Just blow dries everybody, both of us.
Okay. So you both stand there and wait a few seconds before you see 2 figures and a wolf emerge from the shrubbery. One is a woman dressed in what looks like leather armor, hair pulled back into a ponytail, and her elven features very much on display. And the other appears to be a gnome, a man, a little older than her, dressed in leathers as well, with a bow, with the arrow knocked and stretched, not pointing it at you, but keeping it towards the ground ready in case of an emergency. And then the wolf just looks like your standard run-of-the-mill wolf, which, Asbjorn, you've never seen a wolf. You've read about them. You know they exist, but you've never seen one. But they all, they kind of look at you.
No, I have. Direwolf, remember?
Oh, yeah, you're right. So you have seen a direwolf. You have seen wolves. They're rare down in the Underdark, but you have seen them.
Yeah.
But they both kind of look confused, and they like looking over you at the corpse of the creature, the dinosaur. And then the woman eventually puts her hand to the side, and the gnome lowers his bow and unknocks the arrow. She then clears her throat and says, "So I see you felled our prey."
Keep what we kill.
What'd
What'd he say?
what'd you say?
Keep what we kill.
Oh,
They kind of look
I
to
don't
you.
know. I don't see your arrows in it.
They go, "We've been hunting it for a number of hours. It was our kill."
We're opportunists.
She goes, "How much for the corpse?"
How much do
Oh,
you got?
She kind of rifles. She pulls out a little pouch of gold and starts rifling through it. She goes, "I have 15 crowns."
do I have crowns? Do we have?
You're unfamiliar with crowns. You're more familiar with gold pieces.
Do
but
I know how rounds?
Say again?
Do I know how this money works?
It
Do I
is-
make an intelligence check on this?
You can make an intelligence check if you'd like.
That's a 5.
5.
Plus
Question: Is it the
Plus-
money familiar to me?
3. That's an 8.
Make a history check.
You son of a bitch!
That's an 8 for me.
Been a long time.
I don't just know
Nate?
things.
I don't know how
Hold
this
on.
money works,
So,
technically.
A
Yeah.
history check.
History check.
I got a +1 in history. Passed with C. 5.
5. So you know that maybe gold. You both would know that this is some form of currency. You don't know, or you don't know the donation, whatever. You don't know how much it would actually be. You don't know if it's gold, silver, platinum, electrum, copper. You don't know. But she holds the bag and it looks, yeah, like.
Are they
15
all elves, by the way?
No,
too?
she's an elf. He's a gnome.
Okay.
But she goes, 15 crowns.
Do they
that's
look
a-"
well dressed?
No, they're wearing leather armor. They look like hunters.
Okay.
What do you think? Like, this is probably more valuable down below anyways.
Yeah. I mean, I don't. Their currency isn't of use to us. I think.
So, you want to keep
At least
one of
not
the
yet.
corpse? So,
Do they just need food? Is that what they need?
You don't know. You could ask.
What are you interested? Just the meat or the hide as well?
They kind of look to each other. They go, well, we would use the meat, yes, and we would use the hide to make armor, the claws to make weapons, whatever we need. And they kind of look you over, and you see them. They're a little confused. They're like, "You're not from around here, are you?"
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah, we're from down south. Really down south.
Make a make a persuasion check. Not a deception
Is that
because you're being not a deception because you're being kind of truthful, but a persuasion to try and weave your.
All right, that is a total of 19.
Total
Wait, no,
of
not 19. Oh wait, no. Yeah, it's 19.
19.
Okay.
So she goes, "Oh, so you're not from the Beastlands?"
Not one bit.
Uh,
Maybe.
nope.
She goes to
I don't
this.
know.
She goes from the Glittering Isles. Then that's as far south as I'm familiar with.
How many?
Oh. No, we're
Hmm.
south. Down south.
Do you know anything about the Underdark?
As you say this, you see them kind of like tense up and say, "That is forbidden."
Forbidden.
We're
For who
looking
and
for information on
why?
the Underdark. We're
Like-
pretty curious because we found some scriptures on that.
Say again, Miney.
Forbidden by who?
And they kind of like you see them getting a little tense and a little uncomfortable. They're like, "By the gods, of course, by the Beastmaster, he decreed that the Underdark is lost to us. It belongs to the outcasts."
Is the Beastmaster
outcast.
friendly?
You see them. They
Is he
kind
a
of. They kind of like
deity,
really,
or is he a...
They really take a good look at
Earthbound?
you. They take a really good look at you and say,
Hey. Wait a second. Just so you know, like I said, we are from far south. Okay. So we don't really have a general idea of this area. We found some archaeological stuff. Like, look at all these bodies right here. It's kind of crazy.
Make another persuasion check. And Miney, you see the gnome. He's no longer knocked his arrow. Okay,
Is this like a persuasion check with advantage or no?
just a straight roll.
Okay,
But
okay.
Miney, with your perception, you do notice that the gnome has put his bow away, but he's pulled out what looks like a small horn.
15.
15. Yes.
It's a small horn.
Like a calling horn.
Is it? It's like a kazoo.
Are we in a Are we in a Fuck, what am I trying to say?
15, Logan.
15. Okay, good to know.
Hold on, I'm getting wrecked on RuneScape. I'm trying to do something. Hold on, please die.
Okay, with a 15 though, Manny, or Asriel, they look at you confused, but they're not picking up on any distrust. So you get the idea that they're confused, but not alarmed. More like, who are these people? Less like these are dangerous people.
Okay, sorry, I was done on RuneScape. I'm locked
fine.
out of that now, because that's not... I was trying to finish something up. Okay, so... If I see him pull out that horn, I want to, Am I able to make 2 attacks, or no?
You would not be able to make 2 attacks. And he's not pulling it up to blow it. He's like just holding it like, if something happens, I'm ready.
Okay. Because I was gonna say, if he goes to blow the horn, I'm gonna like either throw a dagger or shoot an arrow at probably be how close is he to me?
They came out of the bushes behind you. Or no, you guys were at the corpse. They came out of the bushes to the left of you. So they're only like 10 feet away. But you do get the idea that they are keeping their distance. And the wolf has been sitting in a resting position. Doesn't
You
seem
said
to be
10
phased.
feet away?
10 feet away, yeah.
Come on. No harm. No harm. Just saying, go over here and look around the corner. You'll see what I was talking about. It's kind of crazy.
They like look to each other and nod. And then they kind of slowly make their way to the edge of the water where the bodies are. They begin to like rifle through them, like flipping them over, just examining them. And they're like, "You found them like this?"
Yeah. Crazy.
She goes, "I don't recognize. They wear similar garb to you, but it's unfamiliar to us. We've never seen them before either."
Well, you see, I grabbed I grabbed their clothes, like from their like little bag and everything, because I actually, crazy as it sounds, like I had to run to that shed on my old clothes, and I had to toss them away.
Make a deception check.
Deception 15.
15. Okay. So they believe you. Or they kind of like laugh it off like that. Okay. Like, well, maybe you should come with us to the village. It's not too safe out here at the moment. And they gesture towards the dinosaur. There's much larger threats looming.
Yes. I don't know. Zon, what do you think?
Are we following them to where?
They're offering to take you to their village.
What about our arrangement with this meat? What are we doing? How bad do you need it? Really bad?
She goes, "Well, it would be nice. It is a quite large creature, and it is difficult to kill. You see that they're only outfitted with like simple bows and simple. Their daggers and blades don't look metal. They look like bone. Like maybe they
Would the skin be super? From what they're wearing, does it appear that the skin would be super valuable to them?
You get the idea that yes, it would be the meat alone would probably feed whoever they need to feed, and you get the vibe just coming off of them that they're not desperate for it, but it'd be really helpful if they had it."
Mm-hmm.
She kind of sees you
I
looking
let
this
them
over.
have it. I go ahead and donate to them. They have no charge. If Manny's okay with that.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah,
Okay.
they both
I'm like, oh.
they kind of bow and say, "May the Beastmaster watch over you." And they begin to carve into the creature, taking meat, piling it into sacks.
Watch over.
They eventually, after maybe 20 minutes, have carved up the creature, taken the meat. You see the wolf have little saddlebags on each side of him, and they've stuffed the meat in there. They've taken the claws and the teeth, and they're like, do you want a tooth as a souvenir?
No, I'm good.
Yeah, I'll take one tooth. It can be
Okay.
the smallest tooth you got.
She takes one from the front of the mouth, one of the smaller ones, and you now have an Allosaurus tooth.
Allosaurus tooth. Got it. I gotta figure out how to write it in here.
Okay. And then she kind of walks over to you, Zahn, and she takes a little pouch and puts it in your hand. It's not the full 15, but it's like 5, and as you examine them, it's 5 copper coins that she calls
Okay.
crowns.
Okay.
But they eventually say, oh, come with us, we'll take you to our village. And they begin to head back into the woods.
I follow him.
I make my walk.
As you begin to walk through the forest, it's a very picturesque forest. The sun is coming through the trees, and like little dapples of sun rays are. What's the word I'm looking for? Little dapples of sun rays are hitting the ground, I guess. And as you continue to walk, eventually, after about an hour, you come to the edge of the forest and you see a road leading to your left and right. And she goes this way, and she heads to the right and begins to go down a small hill. After about another hour, eventually on the horizon, you do see buildings and smoke, not like a raging fire, but like white plumes of, like someone's got a fire going in their house or something. But they lead you to the edge of the village, and it's not unlike what you'd expect. Wood buildings, some form of defensive wall, which looks like just trees that they cut down and sharpened into points. You see as you enter, there are 4 guards, 2 on each side, dressed in similar leather, but with patchworks of metal. But you do see on their right shoulder, emblazoned, is what looks like an open, toothy maw on each of their shoulders.
Also, on our way,
Yes.
I want to take a chance to check out our little creepy statue guy and see if he's awake and if we can,
If you can report back.
report
got-
back to make sure we
We
get
got
the
Carl
money.
1, and we also got Carl 2.
You take the little statue out. Are you trying to be stealthy about this?
Yeah.
Make a sleight of hand check.
Okay.
He has Carl 1. I have Carl 2 on me.
Hold on. One sec. Sleight of hand. Okay, I just get a +5 in that. Not 20. +7.
So 27. So easily as you kind of fall behind, letting Azrael lead or take up the front as you're small enough. You sneak behind him and you pull out the envoy.
I start playing music and humming and everything while
Okay.
we're walking.
You pull out the envoy and he's like, this is interesting circumstance. He goes, I still can't connect to the reclaimers, and he's being very hushed about this. He's whispering. He's like, I'm not sure why. It is odd. But just lay low. Don't tell them you're from the Underdark, whatever you do. And just try and
I better
find a
not
way.
lose my money. I'll squish you.
He goes, hey, I don't want to be squished. So
You start hearing me screaming out in the middle of the phrase, and then there'll be Carl 2.
but eventually he's like, just put me back in the bag. No need to draw unnecessary attention. Okay. So eventually you hit the entrance to the village, and you see the guards kind of like shoot you curious looks, but they see who you're with, and they're like, enter, and you both slip into the village. It's not a large village, maybe 20 houses or 20 buildings. You don't know how many are houses or shops. But you eventually get into the center of the village where the 2 hunters are like, well, this is Babblebrook, our home. It's not much. It's not like the capital cities or anything like that. But here in the Beastlands, it's home. And it's safe. She goes, but you hear the gnome the gnome has been silent this whole time, but he kind of like clears his throat, and he says, maybe maybe you should meet with our village elder. They might be able to help you more than we can. And he's like, I'll just, and he looks to the woman and says, Tiff, just keep them here. I'll be right back. And he kind of takes the wolf and heads off into the village.
Got you, Tiff the elf.
You see, as you guys are standing in the center, you see there is a few people passing by, you know, children, men and women, just kind of like looking at your odd garb. You know, they're all dressed in rather plain clothes. Some are in leathers like the hunters, and then you do see some with the patchwork of metal and leather, denoting them of a guard.
How
But-
does their city look? Does it look like a actual city, or is it kind of fucked? Like, I don't
It's-
know, like a ramshackled.
It's not
Does it
ramshackle.
look barbaric? Is the better question.
It's not barbaric. No, it's not ramshackled either. It's quite well constructed. It's, you know, your standard wooden houses with stone foundations. Some buildings are 2 stories. Some are even 3 stories. As you saw, they've got a working well in the center of town, and they look not too especially for you, Zahn. This looks like something a regular village you would have seen back in the day.
It does.
Yeah, it doesn't look. They're not like beast folk. Like, they're not living in tents or living in, you know,
Yeah.
the remnants of a town. This is a full-fledged little town.
I start to pay attention thoroughly to Tiff's talking about everything she's saying for the next minutes and so.
Well, she is just kind of silently waiting, you know, tapping at her sides, waiting patiently, you know. Some children kind of eventually, like, kind of quietly approach, and they, like, lean and, like, just looking over you. And Zahn, to them, well, to you especially, they're a little taller than you, the kids are, and they're just kind of looking at you, not confused, but curiously.
All right. Are they looking at me curiously?
Yeah, and
Just because my size, or
You're about the same height as the kids too.
yeah, you're a little shorter than the kids.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry, kids. This is my son.
no, we're not really related.
They don't
But-
know that.
The kids eventually laugh and go back off to playing, and you see Tiff kind of laughing to
No,
herself
Dexter.
too. And she eventually, like, she kind of like she's just staring at you at this point. She finally speaks up and she goes, "So, where are you from in the south? I'm only familiar with the Glittering Isles. I've never gone, you know, too far outside the village before, but your garb is so odd to me."
Like I said, and I'm reverberating this at her in her voice.
Okay,
Like I said, because I picked up the actor feat.
I know
I couldn't resist.
you're fine.
Yeah, reverberating her voice. Like I said, yeah, I soiled myself, and their gear, and this was in their backpack.
She kind of laughs and she says, "Well, I'm also curious because we saw you fight, and I've never seen someone use magic before. I've heard that in, you know, the capital cities the gods allow it, but the
I go.
Beastmaster,
Shh, shh. Don't talk about that out loud.
you see
That's
her,
a secret.
she kind of like tenses up for a moment at this, and she's like, okay,
We're undercover.
make a deception check."
Oh god damn it! I missed it. It is. Okay, so that's a 6. Wait, is that 6? Yeah, it's 6 plus. Deception. Here we go. Plus 5, 11.
11. She kind of like just takes a leaning position and she looks you over and says, "Sure, you're undercover." And after she says that, you see the gnome eventually come back without the wolf, but he has 4 guards and an older looking tiefling woman kind of walking with a cane and a hunchback, and she kind of hobbles over and she's like looking
Oh
around.
wait,
Yes.
Would I get advantage of since I'm playing up as somebody else with my actor feat, and they don't know anything about people in that citadel, even though I don't know, or
Um,
no?
I'll say you have advantage. Go ahead.
All right, just in case. That was a little bit better. 12.
12. She still doesn't believe you. But the old
Fair
tiefling
enough.
woman kind of like approaches and she takes her cane and she like just starts poking you, kind of inspecting you. And she goes, "We don't get many villagers. We don't get many visitors from the south. Most people avoid the Beastlands, too dangerous. But you did aid my hunters in some way or form. So I see no reason why you can't stay for a few days." And she goes, "And if we can give you any information, we can. But we'd like some in turn. We don't get many communications from outside the village."
Um, I'm trying to figure out what the fuck I want to say. Uh, hmm. We gotta come with a plan, man. Fuck,
I
I don't know.
just I just look at you expectantly because I don't feel like speaking anymore at the moment.
What kind of information are you looking for?
She goes, "Well, we're it's too dangerous for couriers to travel between villages in the Beastlands. So, any information, what's going on outside the world, or which, which gods have, you know, are still, if there are any, are still at war. The war's been over for quite a long time, but we know that the gods are fickle. They'll fight." And you see the guards kind of tense up, and she's like, "I can talk however I'd like. I'm old enough."
Hmm. All right.
She goes, "But
Do I see anybody with like tinfoil hats on or anything like that, or
make a perception
is there a
check."
big giant church that everyone's
I
spending their
like the.
mid-afternoon at?
I want to take a look around too because I'm curious now.
Both of you make perception checks.
Okay.
Uh, let's see. That is. Oh, that's about 7. I'm too much enamored in what's going on with this old lady.
Uh, 11.
11. You both kind of like just scan
Oh wait, you said perception?
perception.
I have disadvantage on that, I
Oh,
think.
roll again and take the lower number.
What was my first number? Hold on.
It was 11.
Yeah, okay. 11.
Okay, double 11s. You both scan the
That
perimeter.
means
You
I get
see that
22, right?
no. You both scan around at the faces kind of crowding around. You do see people are starting to crowd around now that the elder is out. And they're all just curiously looking at you. They don't wear tinfoil hats, but they do look concerned. And you see that the older woman, not too concerned, but the guards themselves are very tense. But eventually she's like she kind of reads the area and sees people are gathering and she goes, "Enough." And she goes, "We have a feast to prepare for. These kind strangers aided our hunters in taking down an Allosaurus, and tonight we shall feast on his meat. So get prepared, clean yourselves up." And she goes, and she points to Tiff and she says, "And find them a room at the inn." And you see Tiff kind of bow and she says, Of course, grandmother." And you see people start to disperse and the guards begin to walk away with the older woman and Tiff kind of approaches.
When the old lady turns her back and everything, in Tiff's voice, I say, "I love you, grandmother." And I turn around and walk away.
You see the grandmother just throw her hand and say, I know. And she begins to walk away with the gnome and the guards. But Tiff kind of stays there. She goes, "Well, I suppose you're staying for dinner. I'll take you to the Happy Harpy and we'll get you a room for the night."
Do I see, from just standing where I'm at, looking around, do I see like a library or anything?
Give me an investigation check.
You bastard.
It's not free.
Action economy.
11, 10.
10.
It's never very free.
From what you can see, the village, you don't think they'd have a library. You think that maybe they'd have like a place, like a gathering
Like an
place.
archive?
No, they would. You think maybe they would have like books stored at maybe like a mayor's office or something, but you don't see any libraries.
Okay.
Alright. I guess we just go to the inn. Are they taking us to the inn?
Yeah, Tip is leading you away.
Alright. She have a nice ass.
She's like
She's
in
not
her.
the gnome, is she?
She's not the gnome.
Okay. She's the elf.
She's like mid-20s, fit, hair pulled into a ponytail, blonde hair, and
Mid
she's
20s, like mental age wise, right?
yeah, like
Physical
physical
age?
looking age. She's an elf, so
Okay.
you don't know. She could be in her like 300s.
Okay. Just making sure.
But she eventually leads you to a 3-story building with a sign out front that says the Happy Harpy Inn. She goes, and she pulls out the sack of coins. She goes, here, the rest of the crowns I have, just use that to pay for your room. It shouldn't be that much.
Thanks. So
I
it's the
go
same
ahead
currency
and-
as what we have, right? Then.
She calls them crowns, but it is copper pieces.
Okay.
You don't know why she calls them crowns, but
But as I can tell, just from looking at the money, it looks like the same money that we use down below, right?
no, it looks
Or
like
no?
copper coins, but it's got a different print on it.
Okay, so like I'm gathering that our currency won't work up here probably.
Well, you don't know. It
Might.
might just because it might not look the same, but if you hold up one of their gold coins and one of your gold coins, they're both still gold coins at the end of the day. They just have different printing on them. So
Alright.
you might have to explain, oh, I found this in a mine or something, but they'll probably take it.
Okay.
Here's something that I'm like appreciate the offer, but here's also this in return because I found this on their body, and I drop in her hand 5 copper pieces.
She goes, that's very kind of you, and she pockets them and says, well, I have to get cleaned up for the feast. Just
I'll clean you up for the feast.
you say that out loud.
No. Maybe, yes.
She pulls out her dagger and stabs. No.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna leave y'all alone. I'm gonna go walk away.
She just kind of laughs it off and says, "You're a funny short little fellow."
Thanks. I try.
And she heads off back into the village.
Damn it.
But eventually, you
Try
guys
to whip cream.
you head into the tavern. It's midday, so there are a couple people there eating like a lunch, and you see this burly looking elf behind the counter with a full beard, just kind of cleaning a glass, and looks like he's leafing through a book to his side.
Hey, Tristan.
Hello, Tristan.
Okay, so the tavern keeper is just he's just sitting absentmindedly cleaning a glass, flipping through a book. But you enter and you just see the people eating their meals kind of like turn and look at you, shrug and go back to their meal.
I look straight into their eyes for a bit. Just keep on staring at them.
Okay. They pay you no mind.
I pay them very much mind.
But you see the tavern keeper kind of like look up at you. And he kind of like puts the glass in and says, don't get many two new faces around here, but how can I help you?
I'll take a 5 of your strongest beer.
He goes, okay. And he pulls out a mug, places it on the counter, fills it to the brim with this nice amber-looking liquid. Goes to slide, and then he stops and says, that'll be a copper.
A copper?
A single
For 5
copper
of 'em?
piece. Just for one.
Oh.
You kinda-
You like shut yourself for a sec.
He's
No,
like,
no.
he kind of looks at you and says, no offense, but you're kind of small. I don't know if you can handle my liquor.
I'll take 5 and I put down 2 silver.
He kind of like, oh, okay. And he pulls out 4 more mugs, fills them to the brim, and sets them in front of you on the counter. which you have to stand on the stool to be.
Oh, I definitely just grab all 5 and find the nearest open
Okay.
table. Because I'm not sitting at the bar if I'm too small.
Okay. You take them all easily enough and carry them off to a table. There's a couple empty tables around. You know, nobody's really. It's like 2 in the afternoon, so people are eating like a late lunch or just getting day drunk.
Alright.
But you find a nice table, you and Azrael.
Oh, and I also go. You have
Wait.
I
Go
also-
over to the barkeep real quick.
What?
Oh,
Both
go
of
on.
you?
I was gonna say I come back to the bar and I say, "Do you got any steak?" And I put down another 2 more silver.
He goes, "I've got the finest T-Rex around," and he goes, "I'll prepare it." And Azrael, what did you want to ask him?
I'm like, do you get any good entertainment over here?
No, no one in the village really performs. Most are just hunters or gatherers.
You haven't heard me. I'm the best down south.
He just kind of raises an eyebrow and says, "Just don't scare off my customers." He goes, "I'll go and get those steaks," and he heads into the back after pocketing the silver.
All right. Wait, where's the spot where I could do it?
Before he goes behind the curtain, he kind of points it just to hop on a table. It doesn't matter. Because you look around, you look around. There is no stage.
But he just told me to hop on any table, right?
That's what he said.
Oh God.
I temptingly want to. I just hop on a table that's empty.
Okay, you hop up on a table and you see people kind of like half eating their meals, just kind of look up with a little bit of with a little bit of food spilling out, like what is going on? As they just kind of watch you.
I pull out my lyre, and with a shocking grasp, my hand starts to shatterly shock, make a shocking noise, and then I start to play. I play on the lyre as if I'm playing Black Sabbath's Soothsayer, because it's electric, like
Okay.
an electric guitar.
Okay. He watches. Go ahead and give me a performance check.
All right. Is it like with advantage or not?
I'll say with advantage because you're using your spell to aid it.
Sweet. All right. That's a natural 20.
A natural 20. You see some of the people at first are kind of like, just whatever, I'm busy eating. But as you begin to perform and you really get into it, you see them like, they put their silverware down, they kind of lean back and they just watch you enthralled. You know, a few of them are like, let's just, maybe they don't get a lot of performances around here. But they seem to enjoy it. And after about 10 minutes, you see the barkeep come out with a large plate about the size of you, Jean, with a steak and mashed potatoes and vegetables on the side. And he comes over and he slides it in front of you. And it's a big steak.
I tear into it
Okay.
as I drink all my beers.
Give me a constitution check for those beers.
Motherfucker.
That's a lot.
That's
That's a
my
lot of alcohol.
constitutions.
That's a lot of alcohol you're consuming.
How many times do you want me to roll?
Just once. Because it's not like you roll per beer. It's more like if you're drinking an exorbitant amount, then you roll. Oh, no.
Pretty bad roll.
I can see it. A 3 plus what? It's your constitution, so.
Something.
It's your constitution. So it'd be 3 plus 2, so 5 total.
Okay.
But
Am I dead?
you're not dead, but you get pretty drunk. You
Okay. That's
Alright,
fine.
Does
I
he
ate
get
my
drunk
steak.
and pass out?
I
Not drunk
happily
enough-
eat my steak.
not drunk enough to pass out, but drunk enough that you might be hindered in some instances. But
Like,
the steak
like sexual instances or
of
combat
combat,
instances.
role play, combat,
Okay.
maybe you won't be able to see things too well because you're pretty drunk. With a 5, you're borderline plastered.
Okay.
But the steak is delicious.
I find that girl after I ate my steak.
Okay.
I'm like, Zon, wait, where are you going?
Don't worry about it. I'll see you
Wait.
later.
You left like 2 or 3 of your drinks left here.
I chug another one.
Okay. I'll say now, you get up and the room is spinning. You're barely holding on.
Alright. I find the Tiffy, whatever fuck her
Tiff.
face
Tiff?
name is. Tiff, yeah.
Okay, you head
How
out.
many of his drinks are left by chance?
I'll say he drank about 4, so there's 1 left still.
All right, I drink it.
Okay, it's a very sweet ale. It's like got probably mixed with berries of some kind, but it's delicious. It satiates your thirst.
Man, he got drunk off this. What the fuck?
It is quite potent though, but you're only drinking 1, so it wouldn't even get you buzzed.
Ah, fair enough.
But Zahn, you emerge. The sunlight immediately hits your eyes and it hurts. But are you asking around, or are you just gonna walk around until you see her?
I'm walking around until I see her.
Okay, give me a perception check with disadvantage.
Bastard.
While Zon's doing that,
One
I'm gonna
sec.
go back to the room that we're supposed to be at, and I'm gonna just set up an alarm.
You haven't purchased a room yet.
What am I
thought-
rolling? You said?
Oh, I thought we were getting a room. Like they gave us a room.
No,
Oh,
you have to.
shit.
She gave you the money to pay for the room, and I said perception with disadvantage.
Oh shit! So in other words, that's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny as fuck.
Wait, what?
All right, I go ahead and pay for a room.
Okay. It only sets you back like 5 copper.
9
Like
gold. Or
copper?
9, I rolled a 9.
Okay. With the 9, you begin walking through the streets, kind of not stumbling, but you trip over yourself every now and then because everything's tipping over and swishing around in your head. You don't see her anywhere. You see people kind of looking at you curiously, and a couple children like absent-mindedly like mimicking your movements, but you don't find her. And Azrael, you're handed a key and told it's the first door on your left, up the stairs.
Oh, hey, if you see a very short lizard-like guy who shouldn't be wearing like a full suit of armor, tell him exactly where this room is.
He goes, I will tell your friend. I saw him. I will tell your friend where to meet you.
All right, good. Click.
All right.
That was the door being opened and closed. My bad.
You're fine. But Zahn, eventually you do see 2 guards start to approach you. And they kind of like look down at you confused and like, are you okay, little guy?
No, I'm looking for Tiff.
They kind of laugh and say, I believe she went out to gather some vegetables for the feast.
Out the city? Or
Yeah, out of the town.
damn it. Okay. Thank you.
They go, do you need help? You look a little...
No, I'm good.
They're like, oh, don't cause any trouble. They kind of turn and
Nope.
they like
Definitely
walk.
won't.
They walk away, but they keep like checking over their shoulder every now and then.
I'll go
Hey,
back to
Mike,
the
don't you have lay on hands?
Yes, I do. I'm going back to the end.
All right. As you walk in the inn, the barkeep kind of like gets your attention. He says, "Your friend's up in your room, first door on the left, up the stairs."
Thanks. And I go up to the room.
All right. The room is, it's not like upscale. It's got 2 beds, a nice little station that looks like it has some like snacks, like little breads that have been hardened. But it's a nice room, nice enough.
There's no breads over there. I ate them.
You ate all the complimentary breads.
Yes,
All right. But
just an empty plate.
you guys are alone in your room. You can hear the hustle and bustle from outside, and if you peek out the window, you do see people. Looks like they're gathering, chairs and tables and bringing them to the center of the village.
Wait, is the feast today?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, is the feast today or is it the next day?
They said tonight.
Oh shit.
Oh.
Okay, well I don't go back to my room. I go back and look for Tiff. The
Okay.
banker brains out.
Okay.
Wait, yeah, but when you before you go ahead and walk out and everything, I said you're a paladin. You can keep yourself from being poisoned, right?
Am I
I'm
poisoned?
drunk.
Yeah, technically, when you're drunk, it's allowed in D&D. You can instead of purifying poison, you can purify your alcohol poisoning, or you're being drunk.
Okay.
You
Am I
think
still
like lay on
drunk?
hands?
Say again.
I said, am I still drunk?
If you cast it on yourself, no, you wouldn't be drunk anymore.
Hmm. Alright, I go ahead and cast it on myself.
Okay. So mark off. You're no longer. Let me see your lay on hands. How it works exactly. Lay on hands. 20 is an action you continue or 5 HP. Okay, so you would still have 15 HP remaining.
Okay.
So you can.
I just cure the
Yeah,
whatever.
it costs 5 HP. It costs 5 of your pool to do it, and you start with
Okay.
20. But you're no longer drunk, so if you'd like to look for Tiff again, you can.
I do.
Give me a perception check with just a straight perception check.
Son of a bitch.
I'm sorry, not perception. Investigation.
9.
9. So, you don't find her. You putz around the village for a while. You know, every now and then you see someone who looks similar, but not her. They're all wearing leather armor, so it gets kind of confusing. But you don't see the blonde elf anywhere. Until eventually you hit back the center of town, and you see her just casually peeling potatoes in the center of town.
I come up and I ask if she want help peeling potatoes.
She kind of looks down at you and says, I guess. And she tosses you a potato and a knife.
I start peeling potatoes.
Okay.
Me? I just like sit there just staring out the window looking at everybody do all the work
Okay.
and just play my lyre and just relax.
Okay. After a few minutes of peeling potatoes, eventually she kind of she rolls her eyes and says, listen, where the hell are you from? Because I've never seen anyone from the Glittering Isles, and you say you're from far south, but I don't know much about that area. And she goes, listen, I'm just curious. We don't get strangers here at all.
How much can I trust you?
She goes, I'm not going to sell you out to the guard if that's what you're asking.
Will you sell me out to the gods?
She kind of scoffs and says, she leans down very quietly and says, fuck the gods.
Insight. I am not even there.
You're not there.
Insight check!
Make an insight check. That's pretty good.
Unnatural 20.
A natural 20. She's being truthful. You don't know why, but for some reason she might not like the gods after all they've done.
We're from the Underdark.
She kind of nods and says, I kind of figured. We go by that pond every now and then, and we always find, bodies floating in the river, floating in the pond. They always strange clothing, strange coin, and we've never found
Do you
anyone
know what
alive.
kills them? Or do they drown?
We assume they drown, or they get killed by the beasts that roam the area.
Mm,
I mean, you fought that dinosaur. You know how bad it could be.
yeah.
She goes, I wouldn't tell anyone else, though, because... And she's leaning in at this point and whispering. She's like, the gods kind of fucked us over a couple thousand years ago. And now they've got the world divided up into territories. They rule over certain parts of it, and they're not very nice.
Do they actively roam the world, or?
She goes, no, but their champions do. And if they found out you're from the Underdark, well, from what I understand, anyone in the Underdark is considered an outcast because they fled from the war or whatever. But they're not well liked.
We have whole cities down there.
She goes, I'm not surprised. She goes, from what I understand in other territories, if they encounter people from the Underdark, they imprison them, they try and kill them. And then in some territories are off limits entirely. The gods have sequestered it so much that no one gets out or in. So we don't know what they do there. But around here, the Beastmaster, and she kind of takes a look around, and she's like, he hunts them for fun.
So wait, Logan, from
Yes.
where I'm looking out the window, can I actually see Zahn and her talking?
No, you're in a different part of the town.
Damn. I was gonna be like, hey, oh, get it. But no, I can't see shit.
But Tiff kind of looks you over and says, looks like you can handle yourself, so you might not be in too much danger. But if you got ratted out and they started hunting you, they'd chase you all over the Beastmaster's territory.
Who's who should I be worried about?
Yeah, my grandmother. She's devoted to the Beastmaster. The guards, they can
How
be...
devoted?
Well, I know her son, my dad, spoke up against him, and she killed him.
She killed him?
Yeah, she killed him, sacrificed him, burned him at the stake, whatever you want to call it.
Alright, interesting.
She goes,
Did she say the guards too, or no?
no, just her. She was gonna say the guards are fickle. They're hit or miss. Some of them, it's just a job to them, and then others, they're devoted.
Alright. I go back to peeling potatoes.
Okay. You peel potatoes for a while until she eventually says, "I have to go and get the food ready, other than potatoes." She goes, "Just
So,
lay low, keep
for
the
the next
story
30
from the
minutes,
south."
so
You
like
guys-
the next 30 minutes, it's like it's awkward silence until she leaves, basically.
Pretty much. But
Jesus.
eventually, the sun begins to set, and Azrael, you hear a knock at your door.
I say in a different voice that sounds more like my troop leader's voice. Who is it?
You hear, it's the bartender. The guards are here
Bartender.
the guards are here to collect you to take you to the feast.
I'll be there.
He goes, okay. You hear him walk off.
All right. I guess I go over towards the guards. I go out the door towards the guards. I have the alarm thing set for the next 8 hours, I guess.
Okay.
So, like, if anybody other than me and Zon go inside that room, the alarm will go off in my head.
Okay. You guys, Azrael, you're eventually led to the center of town. It's about nightfall now, so the sun is set. The moon has risen and the stars are out. And you see people sitting, taking place at the table, sitting around. You see the elder, the old tiefling woman. She's sitting at the head of the table, and she sees both of you, and she says, "Come, you are our guests. You shall sit at the head of the table with me." And she kind of gestures to the two chairs on either side of her.
I go sit over next to her, I guess.
I look at her leeringly a little bit, see if there's anything suspicious before I sit. Is there anything suspicious in her vicinity, Logan?
Make a perception check.
By the way, is this a disadvantage by chance or not?
Why would you have
Or-
disadvantage?
Oh no, because it's not. Oh wait, there's lights. Never mind.
Yeah, there's lights. You'd be fine.
All right, that's a 9.
A 9. Okay. Nothing really stands out to you. You see, it's just two chairs. The table is, decked out with what looks like bowls of vegetables and fruit that have just been scattered around. People are eating them and waiting for the main course. Nothing really jumps out at you.
Okay, I take my seat right next to her and I scoot a little bit closer than needed to her. And that is all I do. Logan?
I'm sorry, I was reading something.
Okay.
You take a seat next to her?
Yes.
okay,
Really
you-
close.
All right, you see, she's a frail old woman, but she carries this strength with her. Like, she's probably seen a lot in her age. But you both take a seat, and after about 10 minutes, everyone is seated. You see the guards are positioned around, and she eventually... Sorry, there's something on my screen. She eventually kind of like stands up and clears her throat, and people stop talking, and she goes, "Tonight, we celebrate a successful hunt." She gestures to the two of you and says, "These two outsiders killed an Allosaurus today, And we have them to thank for this delicious bounty. And you hear them clapping and, not
I climb
cheer.
on my chair and bow.
Okay.
I
They
start clapping too.
they all clap, a couple cheers here and there. And she raises her hand, and they all stop. And she goes, but we also celebrate today my daughter being chosen as a champion. And she gestures over to her daughter, and you see she's sitting there quietly. She's not standing.
Oh,
And you hear people kind of, clapping. And she
I
doesn't.
start clapping too because I don't know what's going on.
You look at her, and she doesn't look too happy. And she goes, but tomorrow she departs for the capital city, and there she will become a saint in the name of our beast lord. And you see her gesture, and she kind of just points at her granddaughter, and the crowd starts really clapping and cheering. Now, some of them aren't too into it. They're clapping like, yeah, but other people are like hooting and hollering.
I start to break dance close by, just to entertain these people, because it seems like it's a nice moment to do it.
Okay, make a performance check.
Sweet, that is a 25.
25. They stop paying attention to the older tiefling woman, and they start paying attention to you. And you see that the old woman put her hands in her head, or her head in her hands, and she just ugh. And eventually she's like, enough. Let us feast and enjoy the night. And eventually the guards start bringing people plates of, meat that you can only assume is Allosaurus.
Sweet.
But eventually the night dies down. People, leaning back, full stomachs, drinking their ale or water or milk or whatever they have. And you see the Tiff, the elven woman. She's been consuming a fair amount of alcohol at this point. But she kind of she's not drunk, but she's getting there. But eventually the night winds down and people start to leave. And eventually the older woman kind of sees you two and says, if you don't mind, I have some business back at my home that I'd like to discuss with you.
How about you discuss with me for real quick? Maybe Zahn over here can go ahead and escort your daughter. I intentionally say this out loud. All right, your daughter over to her home so she gets there safely since she looks a little intoxicated.
Make a persuasion check.
But I get advantage just because I was calling her slyly trying to say that they're sisters.
It'd just be a straight check.
Or not. Fine, fair enough. 14, yeah, 14.
She goes, my granddaughter can handle herself. I have important business to discuss with the both of you.
Fair enough.
And she kind of gestures, and you both follow her to a large manor house towards the outskirts of town. And as you walk with her, you see she is guarded by at least 5 or 6 guards that flank either side of her. About 6, 3 on each side.
I tried, Zahn. I tried so hard.
It's okay. I respect your hustle. Thank you.
She eventually takes you inside the manor house and leads you up the spiral staircase to a small office. And the guards are kind of still with her, and she kind of gestures and says, leave us. And they all bow and shut the door behind them. And then she kind of positions herself behind the desk and says, my granddaughter, as you heard at the feast, was chosen to be a champion. This is not something we take lightly. Tomorrow, she departs for the capital alone. She is unable to bring anyone with her that are from the village. But, and she kind of you see her get a small smile across her face. And she says, but it doesn't say anything about outsiders. I would like for you to accompany my granddaughter to the capital and make sure she arrives safely. If you do this, I'm prepared to pay you a fair amount.
So what you're saying is I have an in.
She kind of looks at you. Do you say this out loud?
Under my breath.
Under your breath. Okay.
But I go, yeah, we could do that.
It won't be easy. It's very dangerous. That's why they have to go alone to prove themselves. But a loophole is a loophole. And if I can exploit it, I will. I care very much about my granddaughter.
We
Oh,
get
I
like
do
the
too.
first half right now, just in case.
She goes, I'd pay you in advance, and then I'd give the rest to my granddaughter.
All right.
And she rifles in her drawer and she pulls out a small chest and she flips it open. She takes a few minutes counting coin into a bag and then she tosses you each 50 gold.
Like crown gold or gold?
It
Or
when you
is
look
gold
at it,
just gold?
when you look at it, it is gold coins. But they don't have the same markings as the ones from the Underdark.
Would I just still count it towards the gold?
Yeah, you just count it.
Counter-
Yeah, you count it to your gold.
Okay.
It just has a different name. It only matters if like you try to pay with crown or you try to pay with Underdark currency and they're like, "Hey, where'd you get this?" You know, but for the most part just put it in the same thing.
I have the perfect reply to that too. Like going, "Hey, where'd you get this?" I would say, "Well, mind your own business."
That could work. But she goes,
Probably.
"I would appreciate it if you got my granddaughter there safely."
Of course. A pocket of gold.
Okay, each of you get 50 gold. And she kind of gestures and, says, "Now, go get a night's rest. You'll need it."
I start walking to her daughter's house. No, I'm just kidding. I go
Wait.
to the end.
Wait, is she still like intoxicated over there? Or what? The daughter.
She was intoxicated when she left.
Okay. I nudge Zon and say, maybe you can go ahead and alleviate her of her intoxication. I'll meet you probably tomorrow, if anything.
No,
And
I
walk
just
away.
go back. We go back to the end.
Damn. Oh shit. Logan.
Yes. Sorry, I was reading something
Oh, no.
again.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, so you guys head back to the inn. And also you both get a long rest now.
Alright.
Okay. So you both rouse in the morning. It's odd, especially for you, Zon. It's odd having sunlight. You're used to going to bed at dark, waking up in the dark, just living in the dark. You've seen artificial suns in some other cities, but this one, it's different.
It's different.
It's different. Oh, I'm sorry, not Zon. Azriel. I get your names confused.
Oh.
I apologize.
Wait, who? What?
Azriel is the one who's not used to being in
Oh, okay.
sunlight. Zon, you know what you're from.
I've seen, yeah. I've seen-
But Azriel,
But
I've been here before.
yeah, Azriel, you've seen artificial suns, but this one does feel different. It feels natural, and it still feels
nice.
Yeah, it feels odd because you're used to going to bed at night or in the dark, and then when you wake up, it's still dark.
Quickly enough. Is
Yeah.
the window openable?
The window opens, yeah.
Alright, open the window, soak in the sun a bit, and I scream out photosynthesis.
Okay. Well,
Don't know what the word means, but I say it.
after you guys rouse yourself from your slumber and get dressed, eventually you hear a light knocking at your door. And you hear the voice of Tiff say, I was told that you two would be accompanying me through the door.
I walk up, I say yes, and I open the door.
You see,
Slowly.
when you open the door, you see her dressed. She's dressed in leather armor, but it's much nicer than what she was wearing yesterday. It's much more ornate. You can see that there's patterns carved into it. It's got, just overall, it looks like maybe this is her prize armor rather than her hunting armor. And
Yeah.
you see she's got a green cloak with her hood up. She's got a short sword on either side and a bow on her back. And she says, well, let's get going. And that is where we will end it for tonight.
All right.